Signal, track Mike area was shot. Reaction now.
Northern Alliance troops, aided by U.S. and British Special Forces, are trying to end a bloody revolt at a containment facility in Mazar-e-Sharif. Good evening, I'm John Ratliff.
And I'm Nicole Samuelson. The latest on the war on terrorism is tonight's top story. U.S. Marines and their new land base near Kandahar to keep the pressure on the Taliban. The Pentagon says by the end of the day, just over 1,000 Marines will be in place at an airfield about 60 miles southwest of the city. U.S. aircrafts have flown more than 150 sorties over Kandahar, targeting several caves and underground complexes. Defense leaders are visiting U.S. Central Command headquarters at MacDill Air Force Base in Tampa, Florida today. The general in charge says the U.S. is looking for evidence of chemical, biological, and nuclear weapons in Afghanistan. Defense Secretary Rumsfeld notes the toughest work of ridding terrorism still lies ahead.
We've identified more than 40 places which represent potential for WMD research or things of that sort. Of those, a great many are currently under opposition leadership control, and we're very systematically going about our way of visiting each one of those, I think, as the
While there are no plans to maintain a permanent Marine base in Afghanistan, General Tommy Franks said the Marines deployed yesterday may be stationed there for more than 30 days.
Representatives from 4 Afghan factions are inching toward a post-Taliban government. Talks began today in Bonn, Germany, where 2 women are among the 25 delegates at the negotiation table. The talks are seen as an opportunity to rid the country of fighting between rival leaders. Diplomats hope the representatives will set up a temporary leadership cabinet and an acting parliament before elections are held.
2 Palestinian gunmen were shot to death after opening fire in the northern Israeli town of Afula early today. One Israeli was killed at the scene, while another died later in the hospital. About 24 people were wounded. Of those, 4 were critically injured. Palestinian sources say the attack was in retaliation for the Israeli killing of a Hamas leader last Friday.
An Indiana man accused of an anthrax hoax will be spending 10 years in prison. A judge ruled that David Jones violated his probation from arson charges with his anthrax hoax. Jones put a white substance on the counter of the men's bathroom at a truck stop where he worked. He then placed a letter on the door stating that anthrax was present in the room. He could still face up to 5 more years in prison if he's convicted of false reporting. And taking a break from news today, Katie Collins joins us with a look at our first forecast. Katie?
Right. Earlier today, we saw some rain. That was much earlier this morning. And then this afternoon, it started to clear off. The sun poked through. And then for tonight, we're going to go back into the rainy weather. It will be later tonight. We'll see a low of about 41 degrees, winds west at 7 miles per hour. So tonight, though we did have a break from the rain earlier today, tonight we're going to see it come back into the area, and that'll hang around until about Friday.
So still a little more damp.
Right.
So, well, we'll take the rain right now until the snow comes.
Not looking forward to the snow.
No, man, me neither.
Well,
so,
thank you,
thanks,
Katie.
Well, police have suspended their investigation on an assault at a Ball State fraternity house. According to police reports, Lambda Chi Alpha member James DeGangi suffered rib and facial injuries after answering a knock at the house's back door. DeGangi claims that after opening the door, 5 or 6 males began assaulting him. He was, however, unable to give detailed descriptions of the suspects.
Today, Ball State received the 48 bells that will make up the carillon in Schaefer Tower. Millie Marsh and her husband Estelle made a large donation in October of 1980. $80,000 was to be used to add bells and chimes on campus. The money has been accumulating interest for the past 21 years and grown to $200,000. One of the larger bells will be named in the Marsh's honor. Another will be named after Phyllis and Hamer Schaefer, who also contributed.
Ball State students spend thousands of dollars a year on tuition and fees, but how much of that money does the university spend on your education?
In the first part of our special report, NewsCenter's John Shaner found the answer may depend on what you're studying.
This is the office of the Department of Telecommunications. Here, the printers and fax machine are often filled with scrap paper. Only 1 staff member serves over 20 faculty members and over 1,100 students. The part of the budget that helps departments buy equipment and supplies like paper is called the account pool, or S&E budget. TCOM spent its entire S&E for the year in about 2 months. Department Chair Joe Misiewicz says the money just isn't enough.
When I came here in 1990, we had approximately 350 majors. Right now we have about 1,100 majors. And in terms of what we would call the S&E budget, the supply and equipment budget, within range, I can't give you the exact numbers, but we've gone from like $30,500 to like $32,300.
So if one of the largest programs on campus is short on funding, what about other departments? We crunched the numbers and found the problem doesn't end there. If you rank the top programs by enrollment, you may expect that they also have the biggest budgets. But of the 5 programs with the most majors and minors, only one ranks in the top 10 in funding. But Sciences and Humanities Dean Ron Johnstone says that doesn't tell the whole story.
I mean, we have some majors, some departments that have a great many majors, but that's just half of it. Then the other half is the general studies courses that every student needs to take.
A statistic called student credit hours takes into account the amount of general studies classes a department teaches. But in this case, it only explains part of the discrepancy. Modern languages and communication studies rank high in credit hours, but still have budgets below the university average. So why the disparity? Mishevitz says it comes down to the fundamentals of the university budget.
And the university funding model is every department gets the same percentage every year. And there really are no factors taken into consideration.
Provost Warren Vanderhill says funding isn't based on enrollment, but rather on incremental increases over the past year's budget.
In the 15 years I've been provost, there have been no times when we did any really significant reallocations. Now,
So the money going toward academics at Ball State is based on enrollment figures that are at least 15 years old. But what can be done about it? In part 2 of our investigation, we'll talk to the administrators who make up the university budget and find out if the system will ever change. In the Ball Communications building, John Shaner, NewsCenter 43.
You can watch the second part of our special report tonight on NewsCenter at 9:30. The Ball State Daily News will also have the entire story in its Thursday edition. Indy's famous Monument Circle was the site of gunfire today. We'll have the latest.
Plus, 3 Massachusetts teens are behind bars after they plotted to attack their high school. All that and more when NewsCenter at 5:30 continues.
Gunshots fired in a busy section of downtown Indianapolis appear to be the result of car theft. Witnesses say the shots were fired in Monument Circle late this morning. Police say 24-year-old Clifford Cox double-parked his car and left the engine running. Cox fired 2 gunshots at a man who tried to drive off in it. Police arrested him on criminal recklessness charges. Now the car was found a few blocks away shortly after the incident occurred, but there was no sign of the thief. Police say no one was hurt, but still aren't sure if the thief was hit by gunfire.
A Jennings County man is being charged with 4 counts of child molestation. 37-year-old Albert Ritchie is being held without bond in the Jennings County Jail. Ritchie is also charged with 5 counts of sexual misconduct with a minor. Police say at least 8 victims were between the ages of 11 and 15. They believe the sex acts were consensual, but in Indiana, a person under 18 cannot legally give consent. Madison County Sheriff Terry Richwine says juveniles will not be put in the same jail as adults again without a judge's orders. A 17-year-old boy was placed in the same cell as a convicted sex offender earlier this month and is accusing the man of sexually assaulting him. Richwine says the jail will only accept juveniles charged with felonies and will be placed in separate cell blocks. However, they will have to comply to a judge's orders.
3 Massachusetts teenagers are in jail tonight. They're charged with plotting an attack in their high school in New Bedford. 17-year-old Eric McKeon, his 15-year-old brother, and another 15-year-old student were arrested this weekend. They are being held without bail. Yesterday, 2 more teens were implicated in the plot. One of them, a 17-year-old girl, is scheduled to appear in court today. Police say the attack would have been bigger than Columbine, the 1999 school shooting in Colorado where 13 students were killed. The superintendent of schools in New Bedford, Dr. Joseph Silva, spoke with CNN this morning about the seriousness of the threat.
Were not made, and they assured me absolutely they felt confident that it would have been an incident if they hadn't persisted with the investigation.
The alleged plot was uncovered after a school janitor discovered a letter detailing a plan to kill other students. And Katie Collins joins us once again. You know, Christmas is around the corner. Still haven't seen a little bit of snow. Still a little too warm. We're getting rain,
Right.
More rain.
Definitely still warmer than usual, and we may see a little bit of a cooling trend, but not by much. We're not going to see any snow really anytime soon. and I will have more on what we are going to see after the break. It was another warm day here November 27th. We haven't seen any snow yet, and usually by this point in time, we've seen snow since October 31st. Today's high was 56 degrees, normal high of 44, obviously higher than usual. Today's low 41 and normal low of 29 degrees. The sunrise tomorrow will be at 7:42 a.m. and sunset will be 5:18 tonight. In South Bend, we saw 47 degrees, Fort Wayne 54, Lafayette 44 degrees, in Terre Haute 47. We saw the highest temperatures today here in Muncie at 56 degrees. Current conditions outside, it's partly cloudy, temperature 56 degrees right now. Humidity is at 75% and the wind is southwest at 12 miles per hour. On the satellite screen, I have two areas I want to point out to you. There is this disturbance out here right off the coast of Washington, Oregon that will be moving in, bringing rain and lots of snow to that area. And also the moisture belt here from Texas all the way up into Pennsylvania and Ohio. That is where we are seeing the most significant amount of rain and low pressure moving in. Here's the area I'm talking about here in Texas. The low pressure area is very definitive. There's rain in front of it, right behind it we're seeing snow, and this is in Texas. This is not usual for this time of year. Local radar, you can see here is the rain that we saw earlier today. It is moving on out of the area. However, we will be seeing more rain move into the area as the evening goes on. Again, here is the rain and snow that's going to be moving into the area of Washington and Oregon later tonight. And over here on the eastern side of the United States, this low will be moving on off to the east and will be dissipating as the night goes on. Tonight, we will be seeing rain showers, low 41 degrees. Wind is going to be west at 7 miles per hour. Tomorrow morning, we will see occasional rain showers, temperature 42 degrees, wind north at 5 miles per hour. And for tomorrow, we will again be seeing occasional rain showers. It'll start to clear up as the evening goes on, high of 46 degrees, wind north at 5 miles per hour. And for your 3-day outlook, we will be seeing some stormy weather on Thursday. There's potential for some thunderstorms, high of 58, low of 42. Friday, it will still be somewhat rainy, 48 degrees, low of 39, so we're starting to back off into the cooler temperatures. And Saturday, we will actually be seeing a low of 35, even though it's somewhat clear that.
So rain each day.
Yes,
so
pretty much until
we might
Saturday.
not have a white Christmas. Hopefully it'll change around because that's what gets people in the spirit for the
Right.
holidays. So.
That's the only day that it can snow.
Right, so I hate to say it, but I hope the temperature drops just so we have a white Christmas, and then it can go. Then it can go from there.
Right.
But speaking of good weather, you don't need to worry about weather for women's basketball. They've got a big game tonight.
Yeah, they do. There's a game versus IPFW tonight. I'll have some news on the men's basketball team and just anything else in the sports world when NewsCenter at 5:30 returns. The Ball State men's basketball team went to Maui to make a name for themselves, and after finishing in the runner-up slot, it earned them the number 16 slot in the nation in the AP poll. Who is next in line for the men to trample on? Ball State plays host to the First Merchants Classic, playing the second game on Friday against Elon. Austin Peay and Sonny Binghamton are also participating. And the Ball State women's team is 1-1 after playing the Thanksgiving Classic. Tonight they take on IPFW. So who are the Mastodons from IPFW? Well, they are 1-2 going to tonight's game with junior Hillary Kulik as the leading scorer with over 14 a game. Helping the Lady Cards as they try for another in the win column is junior Tamara Bowie. Bowie is just 16 points away from reaching the coveted 1,000-point mark, which would make her only the 12th woman to do so in school history. The Ball State women have a matchup tonight against IPFW as the team prepares for a bigger slate on Friday when they travel to Yukon to battle the #1 team in the nation. And Marcus Merriweather set a Ball State single-season record with 1,044 rushing yards, which helped in getting him a certain honor. Meriwether was named this week to the All-MAC first team. He ranks first in the MAC and 10th in the whole country, with rushing an average 124 yards per game, with 7 100-yard rushing games this season alone. And after last season, the ACC and the Big Ten ended the men's basketball season divided by only one win. Tonight, the two conferences start play in the Big Ten ACC Challenge. For the next 2 nights, teams in both conferences play for bragging rights. Tonight's main action starts at 7 as number 2 Illinois takes on number 5 Maryland. And then at 9, number 7 Iowa takes on number 1 Duke. Both games will be broadcast on ESPN. Then the IU Hoosiers take on North Carolina tomorrow at 9 p.m. And the Olympics will have some added security this coming year. The Winter Games in Salt Lake City will have about 1,900 Utah National Guard members on hand, the largest Guard deployment in the state's history. The Guard will be there for 3 main reasons: to screen vehicles and visitors at Olympic venues, to be perimeter guards at the events, and to provide a rapid deployment force in the event of a crisis. An added 1,200 Guard members from 13 states will also assist at the Games. And the New York Yankees lost another to retirement today. Third baseman Scott Brosius decided 4 straight World Series were definitely enough for him. He wants to spend more time with his family and maybe do some part-time coaching at Linfield College and a high school near his home in Oregon. He batted .287 with 13 homers and 49 RBIs this past season. He also won a Gold Glove in 1999. And a Superior Court judge ruled today a trial is needed to decide who is the rightful owner of the home run record-setting ball hit by Barry Bonds. Does number 73 go to the man who caught it first, Alex Popov, or Patrick Haishi, the man who took it home with him after a struggle? No date has been set, but the ball worth over $1 million will remain locked up for the time being. And you know, that's a hard one. I don't know who it should go to. It was caught on TV that Alex did have it in his glove, but...
I'll take it. They can just give it to me.
Well, yeah, I take it too, but...
All right. When we return, Katie Collins will be back with your Wake Up Weather.
Plus, New York is full of the Christmas spirit this holiday season. We'll have that when we return. Stay tuned.
Okay, again, we will be seeing rain showers tonight, low of 41 degrees, wind west at 7 miles per hour. Tomorrow, we will see occasional rain showers with a high of 46 degrees. And for your 3-day, we will be looking at thunderstorms on Thursday. Friday, we will be seeing rain, and Saturday will be partly cloudy, sun poking through. However, it is going to be the coldest day of the week.
Thank you, Katie. Speaking of colder weather, coming up new tonight at 9:30, coat drives help keep many needy people warm during the winter. But they're not the only items that need to be collected before cold weather rolls around. We'll tell you how you can help meet a very big need tonight at 9:30. Also, there might be some positives on the way for Ball State financially. We'll have part 2 of our special report on Ball State's budgeting. Be sure to tune in tonight for NewsCenter at 9:30.
Finally tonight, all around the Big Apple, it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas as the city attempts to return to normal. Gene Moe shows us some of the old traditions and new additions to the Christmas in New York.
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and Rudolph Giuliani have something in common, hero status, so it's only fitting the mayor got his own set of antlers in the Christmas windows at Barney's department store.
We were going to do a red nose on Rudolph, and then I thought it's going to make him look like he's a heavy drinker or something like that, and he's not.
Rudolph, with your nose so bright, won't you guide my sleigh tonight?
Then how New Yorkers loved him, even in antlers.
We like him in anything right now.
For weeks after September 11th, the windows of Saks Fifth Avenue were filled with sadness, but now...
The little tree dreamed of being a Christmas tree.
Most of the big stores have returned to traditional holiday windows. References to the tragedy might depress shoppers. And the mechanized displays are created months in advance. So only Barney's went out on a limb with Rudolph the Right-On Reindeer.
This is a quote from him on his antlers. We have never been braver, we've never been stronger.
The mayor stopped by Barney's the other day to urge folks to spend. As for Rudy the Reindeer...
I love that likeness that you have of Babe Ruth in the window. It looks great. Was that me?
That was you.
Even the Rockefeller Center Christmas tree was wearing the stars and stripes, at least until the scaffolding came down. The tree lighting ceremony has been a tradition since 1933. The lights go on, but how do they get on? I mean, this is just like doing your tree at home.
You get tired of doing your tree at home after doing this.
For 8 days, nearly 30 workers string more than 30,000 lights, working from scaffolding.
What floor is this that we're on?
It feels like being up in a treehouse in the middle of Manhattan, listening to music from the skating rink below. You can't blame birds for landing here.
You found a bat one year.
You found a bat?
And that's not all. Bill Abadi has decorated the tree for 40 years. One of his most memorable moments came as he was splicing wire.
There's an owl sitting there watching me work, and they said that the owl came down from Canada with the tree.
The owl ended up at the Bronx Zoo.
What's wrong with that limb?
It's too ugly for the Rockefeller tree.
This tree even has its own fire protection.
So this is the sprinkler system, and then it can come out these holes.
What a relief to trim the tree, dress the windows in a town where the sledding has been rough.
Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer, you'll go down in history. You'll go down in history.
Jeannie Moe, CNN, New York.
Well, I like decorating my tree at home, but I don't know if I could handle that big of one there.
I know, I haven't set up mine yet.
No. Do you have a sprinkler system that runs through yours?
No, I don't actually.
Sometimes I have to use scaffolding to top my tree, though, because I'm only like 4 foot nothing, so I have to climb up there. All right. Well, thanks for joining us for NewsCenter at 5:30. I'm John Ratliff.
And I'm Nicole Samuelson. NewsCenter 43 is an official CNN student bureau. Be sure to tune in tonight for NewsCenter at 9:30.